Dobar dan svima. Moje ime je Zanini, ja radim u Olimpijskom odboru u Uredu za istraživanje reprezentacijskih programa po gospodinu Šalove. Evo samo ću vam ukratko predstaviti gospodina Zaninija koji će danas držati ovu radionicu. Iako ste dobili njihove kratke sportske biografije, uglavnom gospodin Mr. Zanini is a very respected volleyball coach with many big sport results. The most success is Olympic medal in Olympic Games in Sydney. He worked in Austria and France. Currently, Mr. Zanini trains Croatian men volleyball team.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Dobar dan svima. My Croatian language is almost finished with these words, okay? Because I apologize myself because I can't speak your language, and also I apologize a bit because my English is not perfect, but I will try to do my best and to offering first of all my experience after 30 years in sports, particularly in volleyball. Okay, this is the argument that we will go to treat, and I don't want to start too much from the past, but I like anyway the history in my philosophy, and I think that it's really interesting to know every time where we are coming from. And so just some remark, because we are talking subjects that is really coming from the past. And right now, sports is a big industry. It's like not industry, but anyway, big business. And so selection in sport, and also our job, is inside this big system of big business. It's not like in the past when they start just to enjoy or to have what we can say amusement, like friends, to drink something after the game. It's completely different things. This was rugby college, not that where was born this kind of sport. And the first one was football association, and after arrived all the others one. Just, this is a historical remark. Right now, in our era, every sport is incredible high in intensity. Faster speed. We are talking particularly about team sports, but when we are talking about team sports, we are talking about athletes. And in all the sports, higher intensity means higher jump, more explosive action and movements. You can consider everyone, doesn't matter, but this is now the situation right now and what we are asking our athletes. For sure, science has played an important role in this advancement and in this evolution. And you know, like me, that every game or every competition, it's enough one different action in a crucial moment, okay, and can change the destiny of the season or the destiny also of the career of sometimes the coach and sometimes the athletes. This, for example, is I bring, because I told you I like to study and to catch something also to have inspiration from the past. This is, was one important basketball player and also coach from Serbia and Montenegro, okay? And was intelligent, probably very, very intelligent man, because he became also doctor in medicine and in law. And he said that it's not enough to have a random intuition or sniffing, but every time we need to work considering scientific standards, not opinion. arbitrary opinion, but scientific standards. And in selection, the argument that we are treating today, particularly when we are talking about talent, every time I remarks, no, we are talking about talents, a lot of talents, not one word singular, but word plural, really. And I sign in red in a big way because this for me is very important concept, topic. So we are trying to analyze scientific knowledge and notion about selection criteria right now. Sport selection is a scientific process, very difficult, really very difficult. Because to find and to be sure that one individual, for example, if you are a coach now and before you were athlete, and you think when you were 20 or 18, in which way you learn, who teach you, all the side that you catch information. So it's difficult not to understand exactly what has more effects, impact on you, and now maybe you are coach, for sure you are coach, and now you have to try to transfer your athletes. So what I am proposing is a roadmap about these subjects. I put this one, okay, but I also had this one, because also this is a big chapter, okay, when we are talking about performance, every time I come back, but nutrition has an impact in everything, in each of us. Every day we are putting something in our body to obtain energy. And it's the same, and it's not casual, it's not simple. But when we are talking about selection, often we are talking about young players. And sometimes our task is to detect, analyze young players and try to understand if they have talents or not talents. But for example, we don't know which are the habits in the family about nutrition. Okay, I'm not just speaking about the performance now when they have a career or they are now Ronaldo or I don't know Messi or Juan Torrena and Leal and so on, basketball LeBron James. Okay, but when we are doing selection particularly, so this is a big chapter. For sure, is a lot of impacts and it's difficult to evaluate it. Okay, I am not a doctor in medicine or in nutrition, but anyway, I like a lot to take in great consideration this chapter. Okay, we forward, and now we start to talk about the first big chapter, genetics. Often I heard about genetic concepts. And sometimes say, okay, as some doctor or some scientist said that in the sport world, okay, if you have good parents, you have good chance to become also good athlete. Because everyone remember some example. Like for example, this is three generation of football player in high level. Three generation. Maldini family, you know, probably you heard about, okay? Grandfather, father, and son now are playing in the same club, Milan AC, and they play also in national team. And this is an example where we can say that genetic transfer by generation, okay? But there are a lot of examples also in volleyball. We have Zlatanov, Zaitsev, help me, somebody else, Simeonov, for example, son of the father that, or mother that was, because there is also mother, that was were a good player. For example, there is another family in France. The mother was a basketball player, professional basketball player, and the father, professional volleyball player. Now they have three sons, okay? 2 are professional basketball player, 1 is professional volleyball player. Family Tilly, okay? So, and this obviously we have to take in consideration these concepts, okay? But sometimes happen, sometimes not. Nobody knows exactly about statistic, when and why. So, just permit me to do some very fast remark about these concepts, because I repeat, I am not a doctor, but I like to try to catch some ideas and some concepts that can help us in our job every day. So, this was, sorry, sometime I lost the control of this, it's very small. So we are not just this biomechanical system in our body, but the new study said to us that we are like biocomputer machine system, better than machine, because machine are like just electronic and mechanical. We are not just electronic and mechanical machine. But this is very interesting, this concept, because change, not me, this is not my opinion, this is an abstract from the study of a scientist in DNA. And this concept that pointed out humans are more energy than materia. What we think sometimes that is just materia is not just materia. We are more energy, filled of energies than materia. And we have to follow this idea of electromagnetic entities and the natural attitudes in each one. So, how genetic can help now us in selection criteria of team sports, in generally in selection? Because now with simple test, this kind of test, just with salivation component, okay, and there is a kit, and right now it's really not so expensive, okay. And the first, the first one was in 2008. The first company that offered this kind of genetic test, we can say for all the customer, we can say for the people, the normal people, not just for experiment in laboratory or in medicine laboratory. So, right now, with this kind of simple and fast test, we can have information about athletic capabilities. Particularly when we are talking about, interesting for us, all the points, but really some of that one, okay, we can also have information that is not easy with other instruments. Because about VO2 max or earth range test, we can have other system, like in like in the field, and after we will watch it. Okay, but about this concept, for sure is very interesting. Because how many times you have had the idea, okay, this is potential, great talents, okay, potential player, but, for example, in a season, we are talking obviously about athletes in high level now. Okay, but you can transfer this concept also in the other levels. Why not? In a season, there are 8 games, for example. Some player play 80 games, almost 80 games. Never injury, and maybe for one career they play 10 10, we wait a little bit. I take advantage to drink a little bit. We take maybe one career, 10 years, no injury. Some player, greater, higher talent, every season, injury, and skip 20 games, 30 games, and so and so. With this test, sorry, sorry. With this test, we can have information before to put this question, why? No, before we know that he has some characteristics, and so we have to work in a different way. This is an example. You are an example of this, Tom. Yeah, he was a professional player. How many years you play in professional team? How many? 20. Okay. Huh? Yeah. And his career was, yes, few and very small injury. This is an example. So when we are talking about selection, or if I am a manager of one team, I want to invest money, for me, it's very, very important also, this kind of information that I can have with this test. So I don't want to go too much in detail, okay? But anyway, this is a classification of fibers, and so means classification of characteristic of not just red and white fibers like in the past. It's more detailed, and we can have really a lot of info before to start to work with these athletes. Okay? So I go fast because remember, for me, first of all, and for you that you are listening now, that, okay, genotype is a raw matter in the beginning, but after, with all the training, all the exercise, but not just the training, all the information, all the life, we can say, of the athletes, we have phenotype. And so it's really interesting to have this kind of information before, if it's possible, obviously, to do genetic test. Now, what we can do, I remember that we are talking about selection. So, and I want to put my attention every time in the science, to have information from the science. For this reason, now we are analyzing this field, okay? And we are lucky because this anthropometry or somatometry is, we can say, established old science that give us also interesting data. And this branch of anthropology, okay, say us that there are no two equal men or two equal women in the world. No. Also, if we are 7 or more million all over the world, we are unique. Okay. Also, when we take measurement, because we have to consider the proportion, the shape and the proportion. But why we are considering anthropometric now? Because we are interested particularly about these red points that I translate. The other ones I don't translate because is a subject of industry, of, for example, legal question, or ergonomics, like build the seat or build the sitting in the car, and so and so. But in our subject, okay, it's really very interesting, the information, some information that we can catch from these red points. And to go fast, I put you one example. This is one test that we are using, no, one test, sorry, one collecting of information about anthropometric measurements that we are taking in our team, okay, and for sure it's interesting to analyze and to monitor it each one, and maybe to find out a difference between right side or left side, or to have a body percentage, composition of the body, okay? So this is interesting not just for statistic, but also to give information to the player, to work in a different way between the left or the right side, or to try anyway with this kind of information to improve something, because obviously we are working to improve every time the performance. And this is, on the contrary, an example of life. This is a statistic about one position in volleyball. Obviously, I will talk often about volleyball. And this is, you can see that the difference between the setters, we are talking about the setter. Spatial position is like a playmaker. How many coaches of volleyball here? 1, 2, 3. Basketball? Okay. Football? Athletics? Handball, sorry. Sorry, my mistake. My mistake because I forgot this. Okay. Water polo? No. Anyway, we are talking about that obviously also in your sports, for example in basketball there is a pivot, there is a playmaker. In football there is a goalkeeper and there is a middle fielder and so and so. But just to remark that if we consider just the size, the height, okay, from the first, the taller one and the shortest, the tallest and the shortest, there are 14 centimeters of difference. The average is 1.92 m. So, okay, this is one data, but we have to put this data in relationship with all other items that we will consider. For the libero is the same. The difference between the average is a little bit less than in confront of the setter. You know, the libero is a player that who don't go on the net. He has not to jump. He has just to do some action of defense, of reception in second line, back row. Only the second line, we can say. Okay, he jump just when he's setting. There is one difference from another player, but it's not so important the height. Okay. Anyway, it's interesting to note that there is one guy 1.76 m, and the tallest one is 1.92 m, also in eye level. Okay, and the difference is big if we are talking about size. But my opinion, in my opinion, obviously is mine, we have to be careful to handle this kind of data because sometimes we can have prejudice or false belief or fake, we can say what you want, and create discrimination or worst, to put out from one selection program interesting player because maybe is too in the prejudice, in the common opinion, is too high or too short. Okay, I put some example here. For example, I remember one player in football, 2.01 m, not goalkeeper. In goalkeeper is frequent to have a long size in the goalkeeper, but was attackant in high level in Premier League in Great Britain. Okay, he played 10 years in Premier League, but also Ibrahimovic. Okay, he can play. He has a body size like for football or for basketball, and is incredible, amazing football player. But I can give you a lot of player in volleyball also. For example, like an opposite position now, one of the best in the world is Palotaev, left hand. He's 1.96 m. In the past, Brazilian, André, World Championship, Olympic gold medal 3 times, 1.95 m. And the common thinking is that opposite minimum must be 2 meter or 2.2 m in the men. Now I am talking about men's side. But it's almost the same now in women. Yeah. So, but I can give you, obviously, in the past we have had also Denyekin or Muzeski, Russian player, to meter 18. So you can see that the difference between the same Russian opposite is really very big, huge difference. So why I put this athlete here? Because like Karch Kirali, this guy, because Kirali is a legend, everyone knows, won indoor gold medal in Olympic Games, and after in beach volley was the first to win, the first edition of beach volley in Olympic Games. But somebody don't mention this guy. I took him because he was my player 2 years in my team, and he won gold medal in Olympic Games with Netherlands, okay, and also silver medal in beach volley. And is two different sports. Okay, some situation we can say that are similar, but we are talking about two different sports. But I took him like example because I saw him with my eyes to play football. Incredible talent. I saw him to play basketball. Incredible, unbelievable. You know how much is the size of his shoes? Never I saw in my life one man that has the control of the ball with the feet with this number. Sorry, I don't want to. It's amazing. I am not joking. I am not joking. Unbelievable control of the ball with the feet. So this for me was one of the biggest talent that I met. I was lucky to have him. I choose him, but I like recruit him because we are talking about selection. Why I select him? In that time I watch him, but you think that he come to play and he fall down in that regular season with the team. You know that it's easy to recognize the talent in a special, we can say, players like Messi, Ronaldo, or so and so. But sometimes you have to recognize. So I saw him first time, and I choose him for some characteristic that, in my opinion, he has. So for this reason, I took, please, be careful managing measurement in anthropometry. Because, like I told you before, elite programs is a privilege for a lot of people, for a lot of players. We are also privileged when we are working with elite of athletes. But to be careful, because we have to take in consideration and to study that grow up also is not linearly. When we are talking about young, you can see they are playing in the same category. But the biological age is different. Sometimes also, and this is not racism, listen me very well, I am talking about ethnic difference, because maturity of the body is different in some ethnic entities, okay? For example, I repeat, physically, when we are comparing, it's obviously that we have to take care about the difference, the biological difference age, okay? So, now we switch on the next one chapter, big chapter. To do it, and this is obviously is also very important and big chapter, where in our job every day we can have concrete, we can touch every day this kind of situation. Anyway, the science to measure, to evaluate, is docimology. From the Greece arrived this terminology. And when we are talking about physiological and performance characteristic, it's really topic for us. And what we can measure, we can try to improve. If we don't measure, we don't know if we are improving or not. But measurement, we must do it in a correct way, in a scientific way. Because we have to know every time what we are measuring, when, where, how, and to do it with accuracy and with rigor or rigor, I don't know in English if it's rigor or rigor, a rigorous process. Absolutely. On the contrary, the validity, the value of the measurement is enough. Okay? In athletic performance, you know, like me, that we touch every time. I didn't translate, but after there is another slide. Particularly in open skill, okay, it's more difficult to evaluate some physiological elements. For sure, in all the sports, we can talk about coordination capability conditional that you know very well like me, and flexibility too. And flexibility depends sports by sports, because the needs and the ranking when we are evaluating, for example, flexibility, change a lot in confront of the sports, in confront of the position also of the players in our sport. Right now, we are lucky because we have a lot of tools, a lot of instruments coming from high tech, high technology that can really help us in the docimology. So, right now, this is the future, look like a movie, no, but it's concrete. Right now, there are incredible numbers of instruments in the market. And they are reliable, reliable. I discover my reliable, okay, easy to use, and the data the information that they give us are really very, very interesting in each system of training that we are talking about or that we are trying to develop. So these tools, very important in selection processes and in training programs. In athletic evaluation, we can mention a lot of tests. Okay, just here I put some example that you can have with these instruments. Now, for example, I give you also my experience. My experience means what we are doing now in our team. Okay, this is simple, but with these instruments, okay, we can evaluate tightness and weakness in the body. Okay, FM test. This is just an example to have a general evaluation. And after we can have with this system, this kind of info, comparing on the perfect model of athlete, we can say, and also remark where are the problems, which is the difference on the right, on the left, in a scientific way, not just with an opinion. Because sometimes I can say, you have legs bigger, the left one is bigger than the right one. How much? Where? In which? Just in body shape? Or, okay, this means scientific docimology. In volleyball, for sure, evaluation, we have a specific field of interest that they have a great relation with the performance of jump, for example. And particularly for us, it's really interesting to evaluate and after we will see in which way. Jump test, velocity, agility, strength, also these kind of things, and flexibility we can measure, like I told you before, with the FM test. But if you consider now the high technology, this is almost the history of evaluation of the jump, of the explosive characteristic of the legs. Okay, starting from here, very simple, that you can use also in the gym every day with just 1 meter. And so after arrive Bosco system test and derivation, and after arrive opto jump, and after you can have really a lot of information about the jump, the quality of the jump, squat jump, rebound jump, and so and so. Also, this is another instrument that now is in the market, is VERT system, is like a wearable, like I showed you before. Is a wearable, is a chip inside the belt, very light. You can jump, you can play. It doesn't care about it. And in the end, you can have all the number, the total jumps number. You can have best jump, you can have average of each athlete. Obviously, if each athlete has the chip in the belt. And is connected wireless after you put the data in the iPad or PC and so. This is another system of to control, and so means to stay every time in selection. Because if I have I have the possibility to check in squat, and squat is a general exercise in a lot of sports. Before also, we are talking about football, basketball, but when we are talking about preparation, athletic preparation, squat, full squat, demi squat is important exercise to develop power and strength in an athlete. And with this system, encoder, we can measure the range of motion, the speed of motion, the power of motion, everything. So my evaluation is not random, because when I'm doing squat, I have 100 kilo, okay, but depends if I move 10 centimeters or if I move 50 centimeters, the charge of the exercise changed completely. Changed completely with 2 centimeters. And with this data, where is distance, range of motion, I can check each repetition. So after I can also compare with other sports. With other sports, I can compare any kind of evaluation that I am doing in physiological factors. Okay, now arrive another big chapter, technical evaluation. And also here, I can say in the past, we go to watch here. We are almost 20, I don't know, 25, 30. Okay, we go to watch one game of volleyball or of basketball, and after we write, and we say, for you, who is the best talent in this game? Probably we have 15 opinions different. Okay, but because it's not easy to evaluate technical talent, okay, technical talent. So we must exactly look. We must to know exactly what we are checking, what we are watching, okay, and means also have a methodology in this job, in this analyze. And this one, I put this remark, stay open about expectation, because often we have an opinion and we don't want to change opinion because it's natural, safe behavior, if I change opinion, means that before I was wrong. So I forward on my opinion. So it's double mistake. And biggest, the second one. Because everyone can do mistake. Every day, humans, every day do some mistakes. Okay, when we wake up in the morning. So, for example, here I put some interesting names. You know Zaitsev who is? Yeah, you are in volleyball. I want just to say the other one. Zaitsev was in the past, was important national team player in volleyball, Olympic teammate player in volleyball, okay, father. So he has his career, very important, he came in Italy. Okay, after he stopped there, he has a son, birth, so the name is Russian name, but now the guy, he grew up in Italy, is Italian. So, you know, the father was setter. Okay, good, very good setter, very good setter. You know which is the position that the son played until 19? Setter. I saw him because in that era I was the coach of the club of this young guy in Perugia. I was the coach. I got to watch the junior because I like to do it. I like to see the children when they are 10, when they are 11, and following in the career, following the progress. Yesterday, this morning I was talking with Tommy, and I said, now I am following one incredible, unbelievable kid of 10 years in tennis. It's amazing. Okay, but this is another story. Zaitsev. I was there to see this junior competition. I saw him in attack, to spike, and to serve jump. And after I saw him to set. In that moment, he played already one game in Champions League in Russia against Belgorod or Kazan. Okay, my first impact was, in my opinion, this guy has to play spiker, opposite, anyway, attackant. It's like to put Ibrahimovic like a goalkeeper, or to put Ibrahimovic and play the middle center of defense like defender. Okay, this was my impact. But you know, the influence of the father, legend, like a Russian setter, was no, you have to play setter. But the destiny, and we come back to the first sentence, no, about the first phrase, natural attitude. Natural attitude is a big box. We have a lot of natural attitudes. So, Sinner, you know who is Sinner? Sinner is an amazing Italian talent in tennis now. In tennis. Before, he was really interesting and good young in skiing. He switched because he don't like too much, he don't enjoy too much to ski. Okay? Because he said, why? I have to work a lot for 1 minute and 30 seconds of competition. I prefer to play 3 hours tennis. I enjoy more. And he's an amazing talent. Okay, just with Sinner. Sinner is a player now that he won Next Gen. You know, Next Gen is an important tournament in the world for new generation. Until his junior championship, we can say. The most talented junior until 21 go to play this tournament, and this year he won, but he's 19. So 2 years less the opponents. And you know how does it mean in these years, okay? But before he was a skier. Pirlo, just a football coach can help me, was a legend in Italian football. Before, he played near to the door, like we can say almost attackant, but was not so fast. In sprint, was not so fast. So one coach, experienced coach, say, in my opinion, you have to switch position. It was not bad to play there, but for high level, he switched position, he go behind the midfield, and was an incredible playmaker, one of the best playmaker of the history in national team of Italy. He became also, he catch a lot of titles, Champions League and so on and so on. This is another example. For this reason, I told you, please, every time we have to stay open. Stay open, not just foolish, like said Steve Jobs. No, Steve Jobs, no? Stay foolish. Yes, stay foolish, Steve Jobs. So, when we are touching this material, coach, staff, scouting, we are in touch with a lot of evaluation, really very complicated. Okay, now I put this because this was old system, no? Classic systematic observation, just individual observation in the past. Today we are lucky because we have match analysis, we have match report, we have a lot of other information, we have a lot of video system. I don't know if I am able to switch on just to have an effect, and I drink also water. Ah, sorry. Okay, just let me. Yes. I take advantage. You can watch a little bit. The Brazil is not working, but doesn't matter. In any sport, now we have a lot of high-tech system. Not my opinion, not just one time I watch. We can rewind, we can watch again. We can also fix about specific skill, okay, in each sport. In basketball, when you hit the ball to the basket. In volleyball, when you spike. In football, when you pass the ball, there are percentage of good passing or bad passing. There are percentage of tackle. In handball, I suppose you have too. This kind of system, I suppose. Or not? About, you have to, no? So, we are lucky in comfort of the past because we can use this kind of high-tech tools to evaluate the talents, sorry. And also we can compare now with web. We can compare any kind of information with the other country. In the past, I heard something from my old coach that they said, oh, one time arrive in Italy, Chinese or Japanese team, and we go there just to watch what they are doing in defense. You can imagine this era. Okay, they go there one time for Olympics games or for World Championship. Now we have incredible amount of data and possibility to watch everything, but watching is the first item to learn, not just for us, but also for athletes. So this is, for example, another really incredible video markers for human movements, analyzing. In each sport, it's possible to do it. And we can, for example, if I ask you, just I don't want to be unfair. If I ask you, because me too, I don't know, how is the speed of degree in the hip, in golf, when you are doing swing? You play golf? No. Unfortunately, me too, not me too. I don't know. But if I know, Tommy, when you were spiking from position 4, how was the speed of the hip, of the shoulder, the degree of the speed, angular speed, okay? Now, when we have also this kind of possibility. because incredible, really high tech. We can have any kind of, so it's really great help and very interesting. Obviously, to do it, we have to be interested, to take information, to study, to manage application, to manage high technology, to learn, first of all. Okay, because I don't know if it starts now. This was an example of simple exercise. Okay, very simple. It's just for remember my Turkish. Okay, but it's difficult to recognize from here if he has talent for something special, this young player, or if in the future he can become and like in a high level. Okay, now we can have really a lot of information, more detailed, and for sure more. We are sure, more sure than in the past. Okay, now arrive the last. I am not psychologist, but I like to have and to study also. And particularly in Italy, I don't know here in Croatia, because it's a really short time that I am here, but we are a little bit in delay in Italy, in confront of United States mentality, and in north of Europe. And attention, I'm not saying that the United States is perfect country, absolutely. I am just talking about now United States in this concept, because I have been there to visit the system of, for example, some university, like to update myself, okay? And for them it's normal for each team. You know that in university they have football, they have volleyball, they have soccer, they have a lot of sports, each university. And it's normal for them in the staff to have head coach, assistant, physical coach, and psychologist, specific of the sport, specific, not random, general. Because when we are talking about sportsman or sportsman like a human, okay, we have to take in consideration all these subjects. And I don't want to move too much in the science of psychology, but this guy, Howard Gardner, really opened new world in field of education and in human intelligences, okay? Because he established, not, we say you are intelligent, you are not intelligent. QI 120, QI 80. And so there are some incredible athletes, they have QI very poor, and they are amazing and incredible talents in the court. So what does it mean, intelligence? Gardner established that there are a lot of intelligence, and in the red one, obviously you can find the intelligence that they are more connected in the sports. But if you think all of that are important, we are talking why I put 8 or 9. Because last one is existential intelligence. And if somebody thinks that is not important in sport, in my opinion, it's wrong. I can give you another example of life in our sports, but probably you have also in your sports. In Beijing Olympic Games 2008, Italy catch the medal, I think bronze or silver. For sure, never, no gold, because never in volleyball gold medal. Never.
And also with Velasco.
Also?
With Velasco.
Yeah. Also with Velasco. Never, because he lost in 1996. Yeah. No. World champions 3 times consecutively. But never gold medal. Anyway, in Benjin, somebody can check. I think that we won 1 medal, I don't remember, but I don't remember if bronze or silver or 4th position like this, near the podium or over the podium. Tommy, you can check please, because right now I have a lack in my memory. Anyway, in that team, there were, forse non abbiamo vinto neanche no medal. Comunque, in that team there were one player, Argento. One player was 21. 20, yes, with Velasco, yeah. No, yes, with Velasco like this. Anyway, one player, great talent, he was 21. Fix, he play in a team. Okay? And so means that if we go to analyze all the talents, physically, technically, was amazing. Technically amazing. Was position 4, receiver and spiker. Okay, but after 4 years, he stopped to play volleyball. Why? Maybe that is something connected with intelligence, this kind of intelligence. Okay, now he's just 88, he's just 31, and he's doing a different job. He's doing, no injury, eh? He's perfect with the body. He's also lucky about this. He tried to play beach volley, but he do wrong things, because they catch him with doping. So disqualified 3-4 years or for the life. So I think that is something connected with all the intelligence that we are talking here, and particularly with this one. So he destroy completely his talent. Or, if you prefer, he limit a lot his talent. So, Psychology and Sports really is a big book. It's a big encyclopedia, not book. Because when we are talking about leadership, interpersonal relations, psychological dynamics of the group, cognitive processes, when we are talking about problem solving in the court, stress under the game or topic game, motivation also. Sometimes motivation is on the top, sometimes motivation is is down, or is up and down, but some athletes has incredible stability in motivation. And also they have clear in their mind what they want to achieve. So, who can measure this? Just a specialist, for sure, in a scientific way. They can help us a lot. I'm not a psychologist, but I can ask when I have the possibility, the help from specialists, or from psychology. And another scientist said that also individual maturation, this is also another prejudice to avoid and stay open-minded. Maybe that great talent arrive 20 or 21, maybe that we discover some player that arrive on their best when they are 28. We have some example. Explosion in positive way of some athletes that arrive in a common concept very late. Because each individual has, each person has his biological learning and evolution system. So, you have a great example. I like him, really. This is the captain of your national team, no, football. I don't know, really, for me, I think, really, one of the best midfielder that I saw in my life. He's amazing. Every time that I see him to play, I enjoy myself. Because I saw in this player, huge quantities of talents. Huge quantities of talents. And do you remember last time that he was injured? I don't remember.
Yes. Quadriceps.
Sorry?
Quadriceps.
Quadriceps.
Yes.
When?
60 days ago.
60 days ago. Sorry?
I think 2 months ago.
2 months ago. Okay. Now, how age? Which age he has?
55.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, this is not my opinion, also is physiology. We have a deadline, like athletes, like a human also, we have a deadline. And of course, after year by year, okay, particularly when we go over 30, but for me could be 30, for him could be 38. For him, anyway, is after 35, yeah, 34. Okay, is an example, but it's also just this injury in 10 years, which this level, how many games they play, how many travel they do all over the world to play the best competition. So, to arrive here, it's really, really complicated and deep study we have to try to do to express this kind of thing. Obviously, we need cooperation and motivation of the individual. I don't know, I have time? This is, in my opinion, is interesting story I want to share with you if we have time. Yeah, okay. This was podium junior volleyball, means it's not so clear because the color is not so good. Anyway, this was Serbia, so I refresh. World Championship, Junior World Championship, 2011 in Brazil, okay? Ranking, ranking, third position Serbia, second position Argentina, first position Russia, okay? I put this example because, you know, in World Championship under 21, they are selected player, ultra selected player, okay? In all the country, obviously. But Russian team, in this, just one player is now in the 20, we say the roster of 20, just one player of that championship. Okay? And you can see some general remarks about consideration about this team. Average 2'2", performance is very good, very athletic, explosive player, and so and so. Okay? Like a general evaluation. But who wrote this? Which elements they used to write this? It's more interesting if they offer us how much they jump, how much. Okay, it's an example just for the jump. Quick, dynamic, and explosive attack. How much? What does it mean? Anyway, I continue. Argentina. Look, second team, silver medal. A lot of remarks. Okay. But no one now is playing in a top team or is still playing in senior national team. I continue. Serbia. 5 on 14 are still in senior national team, and they won the last European Championship gold medal last summer. Okay? This is just an example that when we are talking about selection criteria in team sports, really, it's complicated material, very, very big box, okay? And this is another, for example, USA, they arrived 4th, but they have 3 players still in senior and playing in important clubs. So, summary from my side, that coming from my experience, coming from my study, coming from my belief, this is not just, it is not my, just my opinion, sorry. We have to try to do roadmap and scientific approach, starting from here, taking in consideration any kind of information regarding family, school, healthy, and media. Okay, the impact, for example, of the media. So, environmental connection. Obviously, quality of all other items. And here I put also nutrition, like before. Okay. All these are connecting each other. All these are doing. Scientists have been identified an influential talent identification and selection program. They establish definitive these kind of things. And permit me to remark that anyway you need big amount of practice because we are men of the field anyway. And there is no chance. You can use all the visual, you can use it, but we have also to continue to practice using old methodology and system of training. So, all this connection, all these items arrive like before we said Modric, you know. I hope that you have you can catch some ideas from this roadmap, okay? From this roadmap, I hope. And that is interesting for you to have a deep thinking about and maybe interesting operational idea for your future. Sorry. Huh. Yes, this was also another way to refresh what we said in the beginning. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, if you have some question, I am completely available. You have for sure. Why? It's so big. Please. We have a translator. I try to answer. I am happy.
I want to see because we have handball. I have handball trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I work.
Nice to meet you, first of all.
Yes. My assistant è talijanska. Io lavoravo 8 anni a Roma.
Ah, quindi parla italiano.
Sì.
But if you talk Italian, the others one don't understand.
You can answer only
Very important. I'll translate.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Very important. 8 anni sono stati a Roma, ero CT nazionale per tutte le selezioni. Era in tempi quando lavorava molto bene Totocalcio, molti soldi, che vuol dire che le federazioni, che možeš provati?
na talijanski ne znam.
Che federazioni avevano molti soldi, anche nostre.
Tom, traduci un pezzo così.
Kao očito hrvatski nadvedeš
Ja.
Ne, kaže da je kad je radio 8 godina u Italiji, da je imao problema što je to u cijelom svijetu, u Hrvatskoj, u Italiji i svagdje, da sve ide u Da, je bazirana na nogomet i da se vrti o nogometu. To je što je...
Ali budući da je rukomet imao puno novaca, isto kod druge federacije, savezi, i sad dolazi show.
Sad pričate hrvatski.
Nema veze.
Vrlo bitno to sada. Budući da smo imali puno novaca, meni je rekao predsjednik, spremamo se za svjetsko prvenstvo, jer nakon 60 godina Italija ide na rukometno prvenstvo svijeta u Japan, isto kao sad Tokio. Znači, to je za njih bilo senzacija. Handball in Italia wasn't popular sport.
So he had a great budget to develop because Italy was the host of the World Championship to 1990.
And my president said, you want, oko mene,
Around him,
najbolje stručnjake na svijetu.
He arranged that he has the best assistants on the world from Italy.
We pay.
He paid, the federation
Pay for the best assistants.
His best assistants. But he needs to find them for
Ja
different
sam
fields.
uzao, prvo hoću ići, kad već to dao, idem na Carmela Bosca.
His assistant was Carmelo Bosco.
I want Marco Cardinale.
Also.
I want Bruna Rossi.
Yeah, I know her.
You paid.
And federation paid for all this, let's say,
1 milijarda za sve.
on that time 1 billion of lira.
Yeah.
It was koje godine to bilo? 1997.
Yeah.
Znači, Bosko je tražio 150 miliona za 3 dana,
So
ali ostalo će biti asistent.
Bosco came for a big amount of money to assist him.
I on se na kraju priprema, to je sad bitno, postavio njemu pitanje. Mi smo igrali...
And at the end of the preparation,
to je senzacija,
asked him,
mi smo eliminirali, recimo, Slovenci koji su bili na muške.
and that World Championship, for the first time Italy won against Slovenia and most...
I senzacija je bila na prvenstvu svijeta, da mi nismo bili prvaci, nismo medalje osvojili, ali smo bili ravnopravni sa svim reprezentacijama najjačim na svijetu.
It was a huge achievement that Italian team was not the best, but they play on an equal level with the top teams all around the world.
Filozofija Boska,
And philosophy of Bosco,
je sigurno puno pomogla
he helped me a lot
u pripremi igrača.
in preparation of the players.
Ali jedno pitanje sam na kraju postavio.
And at the end, Lino asked him,
Na kraju.
Mr. Bosco,
Da li smatrate u našem sportu koja je kompleksna, mikstalna igra?
What you think about handle because it's very
complicated, complex.
Also motorical.
Open skill.
Yeah, open skill.
Važno je sve integralno.
And it's integral sport.
Sve je važno, integralno.
Everything is important.
Integral i sve je important.
Yeah.
But I want to know difference in percentual.
Yes.
Koliko su važne kognitivne
skills,
kognitivne i mentalne sposobnosti i konativne sposobnosti u odnosu na fizičku pripremu.
If you compare mental skills, cognitive with the physical preparation, can you tell me percent, what is most important? 20% this, 10% something? He asked Bosco.
On je rekao, sve je važno.
He said everything is important.
Ali mislim da si ti pobjednik.
But I think that you are the winner.
Što je htio reći? Da je glava jača od mišića. Znači,
the brain and mental preparation.
Snagom uma i karaktera borim se protiv mišića.
With the strength of aim and character you can...
I jako je važno jedno drugo, integralno.
Yes, everything
da nas je integralno. I psihička i fizička.
So, is the question his? You want to know my opinion?
Yes, he wants to know your opinion.
No.
Did you understand everything?
Yeah, I understand. Really, it's really interesting. So, this is, in my opinion, this is the topic question that my gymnastic teacher, I remember right now, in examination when I was 13. Now, I have the skin. You know when you have the skin. I was 13. He put me the same question. Little bit different because he said, okay, what do you think is more important to play football? In that era, I was playing football and volleyball, okay? He said me, speed, okay, velocity, speed, force, okay, coordination, and so and so. It was key in that era. But if you put me that question, what I can say, 25 years ago when I was in the beginning of my job, okay, after university, probably I put in a different balance the elements that you mentioned and giving more importance to the athletic and technical. Now, after 30 years, I think the contrary. Obviously, I need athletic performance, obviously. I need technical skills, okay? But if we are thinking about mental power, it's a big box. Now, I think like this. I prefer to have shorter guy. I prefer to have not so big jump, but
he has the same opinion.
now. It's and mental box is like we watch. I put in the last in presentation, but it's a big box. It's like everything's cognitive means learning, control of the movement, adaptation in difficult situation, reading the situation, emotion, stress, to play under stress, and leadership. Leadership is a topic. When you have a team, we are talking about team, when you have a team without leadership inside, you can lose, or you play perfect, or you can lose also with the bad opponent. Sorry? Movement.
It's a reading.
Yeah. When I said, yeah. And the speed, anticipation, but the speed, the decision, fast decision. In open skill, fast decision is, yeah.
Reading the game.
And also another thing is in volleyball, for example, we have, a rally. It's okay, 1 point, and after there's a pause and after a whistle. Yeah. But it's also capability to reset. The next action is not in connection with the previous. You have to have the ability.
You have also decision of
Yeah.
referees, which have a great influence.
For example, how many times the impact in the game. Last week I was watching one game of women. Okay, Superliga. One team, no, Italian Liga, doesn't matter. But one team was leading 1-0, okay, 1-0, 18-9. Probably they think, okay, we are almost 2-0. They switch with side out, 18-19, and the game finished 3-1 for the opponents. Incredible. And after you watch, the problem is self-confidence of this team. They are in the last free position of the ranking. This is a classic. What they stopped to understand that to play volleyball? No, they were not able to do one side out in easy situation. Was jump float serve, okay? They receive sometimes also perfect. This was the sentence of the why. This is not technical, is not physical, is not tactical, mental. First, opponent is yourself.
You first need to win.
You are ghost. Thank you very much. Bala.
Faccia foto, lui è un
Sì,
grande
sì,